You're watching Champ Week, presented by Dick's Sporting Goods, as we welcome you live to beautiful Jacksonville, Florida, and the Championship Sunday and the finals of the SEC Women's Basketball Tournament. Can South Carolina, currently ranked number 3 in the nation, make it 2 in a row? Or will Mississippi State, looking for their first ever title, orchestrate the upset? It's been a record-setting season for the Bulldogs as the starting lineups are being introduced here at Veterans Memorial Arena, and a win would take it to a whole other level. There is Kadisha Sessions, number 5, and what a performance, Carolyn Peck. I'm Paul Sunderland. Thanks again for joining us. Morgan William coming out, but looking at the semifinals, South Carolina now at 30-1. Was nearly perfect in a 30-point demolition of the University of Kentucky. 5 players in double figures. And their star, Tiffany Mitchell, put on a show. I expect her to back that up today. Mississippi State at 26-6, the number 3 seeds overall, 11-5 on the year. As you know, if you've been following South Carolina and SEC women's basketball, a perfect 16-0. in conference play, the first team to go undefeated since 2008-2009, the Tennessee Lady Vols, who lost to Mississippi State just yesterday by 10. Asia Wilson coming out, and here is Victoria Vivians, and what a game she had yesterday. 30 points on the evening, 14 of those coming in the all-important third quarter as Mississippi State beat the Lady Vols for the second straight time. Asia Dozier, 8 assists in the first half, a new career high. And again, Carolyn, South Carolina was just nearly flawless yesterday against Kentucky.
And that's the big question mark. Can they back that up? Because yesterday the target was on Kentucky's back. Today, the target is back on the South Carolina Gamecocks.
A quick look at Chinwe Okorie, had 11 rebounds in the semifinal. And speaking of rebounding, now with 17 double-doubles, first team all-conference, 6'4" junior out of Irma, South Carolina. Elena Coates had 13 points, 10 rebounds against Kentucky. Good crowd on hand here in Jacksonville. Been a superb host all week long, and it's been a busy one, but now playing for the title. With Carolyn Peck, I'm Paul Sunderland. Thanks again for joining us. And we've got star power, of course, in this final. We talk about the 2-time player of the year, maybe not this year, but the last 2 years. Tiffany Mitchell, one of 5 players in double figures, Carolyn, for South Carolina, but she's the one that got it started against Kentucky.
She came out against Kentucky blazing from the three-point line. She was very offensive-minded. I mean, there was no hesitation. Tiffany Mitchell didn't wait till her number was called. She called her own number, and she was feeling good. But she wasn't the only one that was hot yesterday. Victoria Vivians was not to be outdone. She was 5 of 10 from the three-point range. And ladies and gentlemen, there is no shot that is too far out for her. You're going to see long-distance shooting. Look at that. 30 points from Vivians, 20 points from Tiffany Mitchell. I hope we have us a shootout tonight. Make it rain.
South Carolina, the number 1 seed, will play in their home white uniforms, and we are set to go Asia Wilson in the center circle against Chinwe Okorie. I think Okorie could be a real key factor trying to battle up front, not only against Asia Wilson, but of course Elena Coates. Underway.
South Carolina in a man-to-man. Can they keep Mississippi State out of the paint? They like to penetrate and attack.
Dominic Dillingham, who's basically a walking floor burn right now, out on the floor, 0-0. Shot clock winding down. Sessions guarding William, who tries to get in the lane. Step inside, shot is blocked. And it won't be the first time a shot blocking machine are Asia Wilson and Elena Coates.
Now, Tiffany Mitchell got off to a hot start against Kentucky. Will she be as aggressive offensively to start today?
Asia Wilson averaging 3.5 block shots per game, a school record 85 on the year. Tiffany Mitchell up into the bottom of the iron, balls on the floor, and Mississippi State will track it down.
Asia Dozier has the assignment. Look how far out you've got to pressure Victoria Vivians.
Vivians will shoot it from there if she can get some airspace, as I predicted. And she didn't lose anything overnight. About a 26-footer for number 35 in black.
I told you she could knock it down, and great patience on her part to recognize for the defense to switch off.
Mitchell guarded by Dillingham. Dillingham, a member of the all-defensive team for the SEC. As we're just underway, let's send it quickly to the sidelines and our Kara Capuano.
Guys, the message all week from Dawn Staley to her Gamecocks has been simple: stay in character. She told us this morning if South Carolina's leaders continue to compete and the bench gives them a lift, the Gamecocks will defend their title. Mississippi State head coach Vic Schaefer, he's extremely proud of how the Bulldogs played to get to this stage, as Elena Coates can't get the putback to fall. But Asia Wilson does get the finish. Paul, when asked if this was the toughest his team has played, last night's semifinals win against Tennessee, he said it's right up there with the performance that they showed him in their regular season showdown against the Gamecocks.
Thank you, Karen. They're going to have to do that and more. This is a much more talented team, at least the way they've played together so far. And with the rebound, Elena Coates with the defensive rebound, but then the travel.
Oh, Dominic Dillingham caught Tiffany Mitchell right in the face. She looked right at the official and said, "You didn't see that?"
And the official, Brian Enterline, said, that looked like a deflection. Yeah, it was a deflection off her nose, not off the basketball. Vivian's a wild shot, tracks down her own rebound, needs a bounce, and look at Elena Coates. If there's a rebound to be had anywhere near number 41 in white, she's got it. Kadisha Sessions easily the other way. Morgan Williams, you see that heavy bandage and pad on her right leg. She's been playing with a stress reaction all year long. I spoke to her before the game. Vivian hits once again, but Morgan Williams is the little engine that could. She drives this Mississippi State team, and I said, "Morgan, how is your leg?" And she said, "Sir, third game in 3 days. It hurts a little bit."
But you forget about that pain when you're playing for a championship.
And then she looked up at me and she said, "You know, sir, I've been moving pretty fast." And I said, "I'm just asking the questions. I'm not saying you're slowing down." Off the front of the iron, Victoria Vivian's back-to-back threes and the early advantage for the 16th ranked Mississippi State Bulldogs. Ball's on the floor, and a foul is going to be called against Kadisha Sessions, and Dawn Staley doesn't like the call.
Watch how Victoria Vivians uses the screen, clears her distance, clears away from Tiffany Mitchell off the screen, and she only needs a second.
Victoria Vivian's getting hot right at the perfect time. Was just 7 of her previous 25 in the 3 games leading up to the SEC tournament. Then she went off last night for 30 and hits a couple of shots here to start things off.
Victoria Vivians is so tough to defend. She knows she turned that over. But because most of the time you're used to defending out, maybe your heels on the three-point line, but when you're guarding Victoria Vivians, you've got to come 2 or 3 steps further out.
Here is Sessions, who hit 2 out of 3 three-point shots and also had 3 steals yesterday there in their easy win against Kentucky. Nice block by Akure. And a big no call against number 45 in black, who already has 1 personal foul early. William looking for some space. Katera Chappell, nice head fake on the flyby, can't get that to fall, and Asia Wilson with the rebound.
That's about the easiest shot Katera Chappell is going to see all night. She's got to knock that down.
Wilson rolling down the lane, and a blocking foul is going to be called, and we might have our first free throws of the afternoon. That foul was on Victoria Vivians, the second team foul, and we're not going to have. They're going to call that a common foul. Yeah, we're going to. No, it is Asia Wilson going to the free throw line. I thought it should be.
We watched Mississippi State execute on the other end a 2-man game, and what they're trying to do is pull the bigs of South Carolina out of the basket so that the smaller size Ole Miss Bulldogs aren't having to shoot over the shot blockers.
First free throw up and good for the 6'5" sophomore Wilson out of Hopkins, South Carolina. What a trifecta. The reigning USA Basketball Player of the Year, the most outstanding player in the SEC, and the best defensive player as well. William pull up 17-footer and buries that 5'5" point guard Morgan Williams wearing number 2 in black.
When I talked to Vic Schaefer this morning, he thought that she didn't read very well in doing what he calls cracking, and that's getting inside the paint. She's got to make better decisions of timing when to pull up and how deep in she can go.
Dozier picked up by Chappell. Nice drop off inside to Asia Wilson, who finishes right at the front of the rim. Vic Schaefer really getting in the ear that time of Katera Chappell, giving up the dribble penetration. Tough shot over the top, not close that time. Very good defense by South Carolina. Good denial down inside. Ball comes out to Wilson. Couple of dribbles, pull up, jumper, no, and good block out. And the rebound taken nicely once again by Mississippi State. Back and forth we go. The Bulldogs leading it early. 8-7, 4 minutes and 30 seconds remaining in the opening quarter.
When these two teams met earlier this season, the differential per quarter was no more than 3 points. This is going to be back and forth all day long.
Outstanding defense by Coates, and then Tiffany Mitchell with the save at the defensive end. Mitchell on the dribble penetration, and wow, that was a really good move and very easy for number 25 in white. See the numbers for Mitchell so far in the tournament. Had 20 yesterday. Good entry pass. Okori being aggressive at the offensive end. And when we come back to Jacksonville, it'll be free throws coming for the Bulldogs of Mississippi State.
Play our game. Our game is a grind. You make them bleed to score. Today's the big picture. Today's the war. Go win the war. Let's go.
We know this. We know the keys. At this particular time, we just got to get it done. That's all it is. It's get it done. Get it done. Let's go, y'all.
Interesting contrast in styles and messages from Vic Schaefer now in his 4th season at Mississippi State. Don Staley, who was this year's Coach of the Year and co-coach of the year last year with Vic Schaefer. It is Coach Staley's 8th year at South Carolina, 16th overall, the 3-time Olympic gold medalist and Hall of Famer. Where do you fall in between that spectrum, Carolyn?
I'm just excited, period. But in listening to the two coaches, Vic Schaefer, he has talked to his team about staying in the moment and winning the battles. Now, they have done everything they've done all season long to try to get to this point. He says, this is the war right now. And he learned yesterday, if you just stay true to your defense, you play physical, you play tough, you put yourself in the position to possibly play for a championship. Dawn Staley, she's telling her team, look, you showed what you could do last night. Do what you do, and you'll be fine.
Well, Dawn Staley, the consummate professional at every level. And I mean, even say when she was at Virginia, I know she was an amateur athlete then, but moving on to the Olympics and playing professionally, you know what you have to do. Just go play. Just go play. Vic Schaefer's team really needs to muck this game up. That foul, well, we were talking about the coaches, was on Dominique Dillingham. And Tiffany Mitchell coming up empty, and it will be Mississippi State basketball. I think a pretty good start here for Mississippi State, staying right with South Carolina, trailing by only 1 as we're inside of 3 minutes and 20 seconds remaining in the first of 4 quarters.
I think Vic Schaefer just wants to keep it close all the way through to the 4th quarter, and then he has confidence in his defense. And that young lady right there, Victoria Vivians, can manufacture enough points to win this ball game.
In terms of degree of difficulty, last night and already today, Victoria Vivians is setting the bar very, very high. Dozier with it out top, wearing number 31. That's still heavily bandaged right hand. Missed 5 games with an unspecified hand injury, but it has affected her, at least with her shooting, not with her assists. Down the lane, oh, up into the bottom of the iron. And Sarah Movio, after the offensive rebound, number 24 in white, the transfer senior out of Virginia. Good crowd on hand, and now retired former head football coach, a great one, Steve Spurrier, in the house tonight here in Jacksonville. Good crowd.
Steve Spurrier has always been a supporter of women's basketball. When he was at Kentucky, when he was at Florida, he was a big supporter of Carol Ross and now a big fan of Dawn Staley.
Tiffany Mitchell attacking the basket, gets her own miss and right to the rim. And if that's another foul on Dillingham, that's going to be big. Let's sort it out. Yeah, Dominique Dillingham just picked up her second personal foul, and now in the period, Mississippi State is out of fouls. So in any subsequent foul, it'll be 2 free throws for Mitchell and the Gamecocks. First free throw up and good. Champ Week presented by Dick's Sporting Goods continues tonight on ESPN with 2 women's championship games. At 7 Eastern, it's the Big Ten, Michigan State and Maryland. Then at 9, we head out to Seattle, the Pac-10, for the championship between the Bruins of UCLA and the Beavers of Oregon State. Both games are also streaming live on Watch ESPN and the ESPN app.
Jamie Wiesner of Oregon State. She put her team on her back to get to the finals.
Victoria Vivians. I'm not sure she saw it go up. Look at her smiling. Almost broke the backboard. Missed that shot so badly, but it has been that kind of 24 hours for Victoria Vivians. Now with 11.
Victoria Vivians is kind of like golf and putting. She looks at the hole and
not my
back,
putting.
and then she just hits the ball. She didn't even need to see the target. She's got that kind of memory.
Vivians looking to give it up. There's the high screen. Good pick that time by Mitchell. Here comes Kadisha Sessions. Spins away from the defense of William and lays it up and in, and back and forth we go.
These 2 point guards are locked in. Morgan William and Kadisha Sessions. We're going to have a show. These 2 are very aggressive and super quick.
Another steal. Here comes Cuevas ahead of the pack, and she will lay that up and in. Turnovers hurting Mississippi State here early because they're live ball turnovers. They're leading to runouts. Brianna Richardson, no question about the travel there.
Get your offense going from your defense. Bianca Cuevas with the steal and the layup. And just before that, it's Tiffany Mitchell with the pickup, and then Kadisha Sessions with the sweet swirl for the finish.
Already South Carolina with 6 points off of those turnovers. 3 straight turnovers for Mississippi State.
Both of these teams are excellent defending teams. So you've got to be extra strong and extra sure in taking care of the basketball.
But to Vic Schaefer's point about grinding this game out, you cannot give up easy baskets. You got to make them bleed to score. And so far, not a lot of blood on those runouts or wide open threes for Tiffany Mitchell. Inside to Okore, away from the defense, and nicely up off the window.
Nell Fortner has called Vic Schaefer the puppet master, finding buckets.
Kadisha Sessions, look at a 3, and she is still hot from outside. Vic Schaefer wanted a push-off on that particular play. He is hot, but Kadisha Sessions sometimes left wide open and is now making teams pay, Carolyn.
You got to have a point guard that's willing to knock down big-time buckets. Call on number 5, Kadisha Sessions.
You're watching the SEC on ESPN back in Jacksonville, South Carolina, on top of Mississippi State, 20-15. And so far, the Stars have not disappointed in the first 10 minutes.
Victoria Vivians has not missed a 3 today. 3 for 3. She's on automatic of knocking down those shots. And now Tiffany Mitchell has been heating up. On the drive first, she's established that attack game, and now her outside game is coming along. We're in for a big-time show today.
Mississippi State, a perfect 3 for 3 from outside the arc. All of those Vivians. South Carolina, 2 of 4, and Kadisha Sessions continues to be a real weapon from the perimeter.
I mean, that was a clutch 3 to end that quarter.
Vic Schaefer wanted a push-off, but he did not get the call. Here comes William. Drop off a little bit too low. William tries to keep the ball alive and Sessions just shovels the ball over to her teammate Wilson. Dozier attacking the basket. What a good block from the weak side by number 3 in black, Brianna Richardson. Pull up three-pointer, that one not close. Does that qualify as a heat check, or is that just in the flow of the game? William down the lane, high up off the window. 5'5" in among the Sequoias.
A shot as far as Vivian goes, that's a shot for her. That's a shot Vic Schaefer wants. He's looking for opportunities in transition.
Cuevas not there. Akure takes the rebound. Kicking ahead to Richardson, and a traveling violation.
Talk about reading when you're cracking. That's what Vic Schaefer says when Morgan Williams attacks. She went straight at the size of South Carolina and got the 2.
Did you see how high up on the window she had to put that? It was above the box.
But did you see how high? She may only be, she's listed at 5'5". She's really about 5'3", but she got off the floor. She's got a vertical on her.
Averages 11 points, 5 assists, second best in the conference. The sophomore out of Birmingham, Alabama. Coates coming up to set a screen for Wilson, looking to play some high-low. Good block out inside. Chinwe Akure, number 45 in black for Mississippi State, has been superb up front. Vivians again, knocking it down now with 13. That one right in the face of Asia Wilson. Sessions at the other end, really frenetic pace. Morgan Williams pull up 16-footer off the side of the iron. And now coming to set it back out, Kayla Nevitt, 5'10" sophomore, 23 in black, will reset things inside of 8 minutes remaining in the half. South Carolina leading by 1. Richardson, three-pointer off the side of the iron. Look at these women battle for that loose ball, and it's going to be off of Mississippi State and will go to South Carolina.
Vic Schaefer has found opportunities for Victoria Vivians to score in transition. Watch this drag screen by Brianna Richardson. Just buys Victoria Vivians enough time, and you give her a second, she's going to make you pay.
That play was well defended. I mean, Vivians is 5 for 8 from the floor and missed just 1 from long range, where she is 3 of 4. Jatari White on for the first time, wearing number 40 for South Carolina. Inside to Coates, off the glass, no. Once again, Akure holding her ground. And another turnover. That's 8 turnovers for Mississippi State.
We talk about it a lot with Elena Coates. Sometimes she catches the ball too deep and she puts herself in a bad angle. She needs to start out a little bit higher above the block to give herself room to make that post move. Dozier's got to be more calm and settled with the basketball.
Yeah, lost the handle, and look at the possession arrow, and that will be Mississippi State's basketball. And with the possession, let's hear from Vic Schaefer about how he wants to defend the bigs inside for South Carolina.
Kid throws in a 3, you know what? We've thrown them in too. You got to guard the ball. They're going to attack the rim till you slow them down. It's the reason why she's been player of the year in our league. It will not be easy. It will be hard. It will be difficult. It will be worth it.
Vic Schaefer talked about how South Carolina is going to go to the bigs in the first quarter. They had 12 points in the paint. So far in this second quarter, they're 0 for 4 in that blue area.
Shot clock at 8. Looking inside now for Tierra McCowan, the big 6'7" freshman who just came on the floor, and there is another turnover. It's way too many for Mississippi State.
Look, in the first meeting, it was South Carolina plus 18 points in the paint. Today, they already have an 8-point advantage.
Mitchell, crossover dribble all the way inside, beautifully using the left hand to score it once again.
Yeah, the question has been, how high will Tiffany Mitchell go in the WNBA draft? The way she has played in these last 2 games, I gotta believe she's got it in the top 5.
Now with 8 to lead the way offensively for the Gamecocks, 22-19 on top of number 16, Mississippi State, the number 3 seed. South Carolina, of course, the number 1. Pull-up jumper again, not there. Battle for the offensive rebound, taken nicely by Richardson. Back out to William, basically an unguarded free throw, and she'll say thank you very much. But great work on the offensive glass.
The high-low needs to go low to Elena Coates. Bring Jatari White high.
Into the corner, Dozier off the side of the iron. That hand still bothering her. She's been way off on her shooting, not only so far early, but also in the semifinal yesterday against Kentucky. Vivians, another live ball turnover. Nevitt working back on Dozier, takes it inside, not there. Look at Elena Coates at 6'4", work hard to run the floor.
Everybody else pretty much thought, Dozier, you've got it by yourself. Elena Coates, she came in there for some security and cleaned it up.
First basket for Coates inside of 4.5 minutes remaining. William finding a way to get down inside, snuck it inside of Jatari White, but just not enough real estate. Mitchell, three-pointer off the front of the iron, rebound taken by McCown.
Keep an eye on Tiffany Mitchell and Victoria Vivians. Watching Vivians try to dance with Mitchell to get free has been entertaining.
Another steal, another turnover. Here comes Sessions working on Richardson. Lays it up, and it's going to be a couple of free throws. What is leading to all of these turnovers right now, in spite of the fact Mississippi State only trails by 3? That's something they got to clean up, Carolyn.
Well, the defense has led to that. When you play good defense, you get transition. That's good stuff from the Beast.
If you don't tighten up your handle, it's going to be a layup fest. We should be winning the game, but we're too loose with our handle. That's it. That's the difference in the game right now, is them picking our pockets.
He's exactly right. The defensive pressure and the help off the ball from South Carolina has led to those turnovers, which has led to points for South Carolina.
Kadisha Sessions good on the first of 2 free throws, and the second rattles in and out. Yesterday in the semifinal, when Mississippi State beat Tennessee, they turned it over 14 times in 40 minutes, have already turned it over 13 times against South Carolina.
Well, Kara Capuano slid me a note and said that Dawn Staley is asking her post players to help more on Morgan William. They're trying to wear Morgan William out.
Dominic Dillingham back on, loses her footing a little bit off the front of the iron, and another rebound taken by Wilson.
Dominic Dillingham back in the game with 2 fouls.
Good attack of the basket once again by Kadisha Sessions, who comes away limping a little bit. We'll keep an eye on that. Yeah, Vic Schaefer rolling the dice right now with number 00 in black. But she is one of the best defenders, not only on his team, but in the conference. Biggest early lead for South Carolina. Rattles in and out, and once again, Elena Coates controlling the rebound. Averaged 11 on the year, the best number in the conference. Asia Wilson right through contact, gets her own rebound, and on the held ball, the possession arrow will keep the basketball with the Gamecocks.
Sessions drove hard to the basket, but after she finishes this shot, when she comes down, she's limping. Something's bothering her a little bit. So right away she goes over to visit with the South Carolina trainer.
Kadisha Sessions now with 10 points, headed to the sideline, continues her hot offensive play off the back of the iron. Look at Wilson over the top for the rebound and the stick back by the player of the year.
Her length at 6'5", the high release on her shot. It makes Asia Wilson so difficult to defend.
7 points, 8 rebounds for Wilson, number 22 in white. Vivian's cooled off a little bit, step back jumper, and Wilson goes down to track a very tough rebound. A little bit of a danger zone right now for Mississippi State, who has played step for step with the number 3 team in the country, South Carolina. Spin move, Wilson to the front of the rim, not to the floor, and the foul is going to be called on the freshman McCowan.
You watch Asia Wilson, she tips the offensive rebound back, and then the high left-handed release. Dawn Staley's got to love that.
This game very, very physical, like the game yesterday, particularly early on before South Carolina put Kentucky away, and Asia Wilson took a very, very hard fall in that game. And I spoke to her when she came out for warm-ups, and she said, was on my left hip, but it's padded up. I feel fine, ready to go. But that could have been a lot worse. That was a very tough fall as Chinwe Okoye comes back on.
When she came back into the ball game, she maintained being aggressive. She didn't start playing tentative or careful. She's playing aggressive again tonight.
9-0 run for South Carolina. Look at Cuevas just harassing and stealing it from behind. Cuevas at the other end. Dillingham's got to be careful. Dillingham playing with 2 personal fouls, could have easily picked up her 3rd. Instead, an outstanding block out of bounds, saving a basket.
But Dillingham, she's a smart defensive player. She gave herself enough room, just all ball. That was fun. Hey, listen, Mississippi State's going to have to climb their way back in this one.
The number 3 team in the nation, the South Carolina Gamecocks, with a record of 30-1. Again, a perfect 16-0 in conference. The number 1 seeds here, looking to make it 2 postseason tournament championships in a row. Last year, they beat Tennessee in this championship game.
But their offense is much improved from last year to this year, and especially this time of season. They've got a number of options, and one of those is number 1, Bianca Cuevas.
Tina Roy, and look at Morgan William going high for the rebound. Where does Mississippi State go for some offense here? They're in much need of a basket now that Vivian's has been cooled off a little bit.
They still got to run things to Victoria Vivian's. I would even look to post her up with Bianca Cuevas trying to defend her down low.
Vivian's on the curl off the side of the iron. Ball tipped out, and Mitchell will be all over that. Working on Vivian's, lays it up and in. Beautifully done by Tiffany Mitchell once again. Now in double figures with 10. That's got, oh boy, that looked like an illegal screen on Okoye. Crossover dribble and off the side of the iron, and another rebound taken. Boy, are they playing some fantastic defense. In the half court and in transition as the first half comes to a close. South Carolina will go to the locker room with their largest lead of the half.
But look at this All-American move. Hesitation, put you to sleep, then go right by you. That's sweet, Tiffany Mitchell.
Let's go over to Kara Capuano.
Paul, thank you. Dawn, in both quarters, South Carolina really ended on a strong run. What's going well for the Gamecocks in this first half?
Well, we're attacking the basket. You know, for a defense like Mississippi State applies, you have to attack them. You have to apply pressure with pressure, and I think we're doing a great job attacking the paint.
You've been asking them to stay in character. What are they showing you in this championship game?
They're playing with a lot of heart on both sides of the ball. They're determined, and they're imposing their will in this game because they don't want to be denied another championship.
Thank you, Dawn.
Thank you.
You're watching Champ Week, presented by Dick's Sporting Goods. Welcome back to a sparkling day here in Jacksonville, Florida. So far, all South Carolina taking advantage of Mississippi State miscues on top 33-21. Back with Carolyn Peck, I'm Paul Sunderland. Mississippi State looks at this tape and they say, we're defending the half court pretty well, but they're just turning the ball over in live ball situations way too often against a good team.
Well, South Carolina's defense is as stingy as Mississippi State's, and what they have done has been very aggressive, getting steals, getting deflections, getting the basketball, and then not only getting the ball, but going down and turning that into points. Quavas came in and was a big presence for South Carolina at the top of their defense. I am so impressed with Dawn Staley and how her team has locked in defensively. When you look at how they have really slowed down Victoria Vivians, she started out red hot, but a lot of that, you can't get her the basketball, she can't score. They had 2 turnovers in the first 7.5 minutes. Since then, 10.
And those turnovers leading to 13 points put up on the board by South Carolina. Miss it, the offensive end from Mississippi State by Vivians, who was very effective in the first half, but didn't get much help from her teammates. And Asia Wilson looking to get to a double-double. We'll get right back to the free throw line early here in the second half. Thanks again so much for joining us. SEC Women's Basketball Championship. South Carolina, the #1 seed, and currently now the second #1 overall seed behind only UConn. Congratulations to Notre Dame on another ACC championship they won earlier today. South Carolina trying to make it 2 in a row in this championship. Their first was last year, a 62-46 win over Tennessee, when they also did it at the defensive end.
That's what you got to hang your hat on. Defense, guard play. There's Vivians. She was able to get free there, a little closer in with the mid-range jumper.
Victoria Vivians now with 15, but in the first half, she was 5 of 10 from the floor. The rest of her teammates just 4 of 15. Long way to go. These two teams played a very tight one down in Starkville. South Carolina winning it 57-51. Asia Wilson, she won't miss that very often. That one just rolled off the iron.
But Khadijah Sessions with that second effort, getting the offensive board. Mississippi State trying to take away the high-low, defending Asia Wilson.
Here's Mitchell, 7 to shoot, working her way off the window, can't get a bounce. So 2 heartbreakers in close, missed by South Carolina. Crossover dribble, Vivians drop it inside for a Purway, who digs it out of traffic, and Richardson knocked to the floor, as is Khadijah Sessions, and the foul will go against Mississippi State. Brianna Richardson, the 6'1 junior out of Conyers, Georgia, played very well in last year's NCAA tournament, which saw Mississippi State exit in the second round, a loss to Duke, their first NCAA appearance since 2010, when they went 27-7 last year, a school record for wins, and 11-5 in the SEC. Also, the most conference wins ever.
And Brianna Richardson really has taken a back seat. She's only been a player that's come off the bench, but she's upped her game as of late, especially on the defensive end.
Holding foul called against Tiffany Mitchell, and here was Mississippi State head coach Vic Schaefer at the half.
What this game's about is about competing. It's about you competing against 41, about you competing with 25, about you competing with 5. We've got to be better defensively. We got to be better on the boards. It's not one person's job. Go help me rebound. Play your heart out. I don't care what happens, just play hard and attack them on offense. Let's go.
Coach Schaefer also asking his Bulldogs to be more aggressive offensively. I asked him why he has confidence they can flip the switch. He said that's the team they've been all year. Put your hair on fire and go play. Defense and offense are going to take it to come back to this one, though, Paul.
All right, thank you, Kara. Vivians with a long three-pointer out of the corner, and then Asia Wilson answering at the other end for the Gamecocks, now with 13 points and 10 rebounds for the player of the year. Dillingham behind the back. Step through, needs a bounce, and gets it. Dominique Dillingham, who's really upped her scoring over the last 8 games.
When Dominique Dillingham scores in double figures, Mississippi State's ball games.
And a blocking foul is going to be called. Tiffany Mitchell attacking the rim once again. A couple of free throws coming.
Watch Tiffany Mitchell deny the screen. Asia Wilson recognizes the defense trying to go over the top. She slips to the basket, especially on that left side, because she finishes so well with her left hand.
Brianna Richardson picked up her third personal foul, and that is also the third team foul against Mississippi State here very early in the third quarter. 7:09 remaining. Then you're out of fouls when you get to 4. It'll be free throws the rest of the way after that. Tiffany Mitchell, twice the player of the year, really improved at the defensive end. 20 points, 4 of 8 threes yesterday as South Carolina was taken apart. A very good team from Kentucky, 93-63. A season high in points, a season high with 12 3-point makes.
But she also was distributing the basketball and had a couple of steals. She plays so well in every aspect of the game.
Vivians with 18 off the back of the iron there. Sessions battles a teammate for the rebound. Wilson feeling it offensively, lost the handle here. Here comes Mississippi State. Dillingham's got it. Doesn't have numbers. Good play by Sessions to cut off the angle. And then on the second attempt after the bobble, number 5 gets a little overly aggressive at the defensive end.
Sessions does a good job hustling down. She could have been called with a slap down for the foul the first time, but on the second try, she gets caught.
Second personal foul on Sessions, second team foul on South Carolina. Dillingham into the lane, stripped away by Sessions. You wonder where the scoring can come from. If not from Vivians, who else will step up from Mississippi State to help them get back in this game?
Well, Morgan Williams has got to get back to cracking, getting that attack into the paint.
Asia Wilson aggressive offensively, the spin move, but lost the handle for a rare turnover against South Carolina.
The other thing that Mississippi State can do is recognize when she's receiving a ball screen and Elena Coates comes so far away from the basket, well, her player has to be available. See what post is down low.
Only 6 turnovers for the Gamecocks, as we've talked about all game long, a real problem for Mississippi State now with 13. On the whistle, want to remind everybody, Monday, March 14th, it's Election Monday, and we'll have the exclusive live announcement of the 64-team NCAA Women's Championship field again this year at 7 Eastern on ESPN, with a bonus hour of coverage at 8 on ESPNU, also streaming live on Watch ESPN and the ESPN app. Look at the all-important seeds, at least for now, in the SEC, courtesy of Bracketology, and the list compiled by Charlie Cream.
Mississippi State trying to make a case of being one of the top 6 teams. And Charlie Cream told us it has a lot to do with their non-conference, but when you're playing in the SEC, it's one of the top 2 conferences in the country. You've got the Pac-12 and the SEC. That's a good finish by Elena Coates. Beast mode. But when you finish in the top 2 in the SEC, you've made it to the finals of the SEC tournament. How can you not be considered a host team in the top 16?
Well, I know it's not all about the RPI, but their RPI, because of their very soft preseason schedule, is at 28. Ball deflected out of bounds, and another rejection by South Carolina. 5:09 remaining here in the third. Plenty of time to shoot for Mississippi State, 14 on the clock. Mississippi State 26-6, another record-setting year, playing in their second ever postseason tournament championship game. The last time was in 2000 when they lost a nail-biter to Tennessee, against South Carolina winning for the first time last year. Vivian stepping in, drawing some contact, would have counted had it gone, and the foul is going to be called on number 25, Tiffany Mitchell. That is her second personal and the third team foul called against South Carolina. And Victoria Vivians, now with 18 points, leading scorer in the game, will get to the line where she's a 74%er. Second team All-SEC last year, an honorable mention All-American, moved up to the first team this year.
And the rest of the way, Vic Schaefer has got to play through Victoria Vivians. She's not just a three-point shooter, but she can attack and get herself right there to the free throw line.
Both free throws up and good as she adds to her total, but South Carolina continues to lead it by double figures, 41-30. Mitchell slithering through the defense, might have gotten away with a walk. Here is Dozier on the floater, gets that ball to fall. Tough shot.
At the half, Dawn Staley liked the way her team is attacking. First you had Mitchell attack in. Dozier didn't settle for the outside shot, but put it on the deck and got in the paint.
Lob pass inside to Okore. Good step through, getting away from Elena Coates. Very nice move by Chinwe Okore, 6'5" junior out of Lagos, Nigeria.
When you look at this, her physique, the strength that she shows.
It's a good thing. Look who she's battling against. Coates and Wilson, and been holding her own for the most part. Mitchell once again down the lane. Beautiful pass. Tiffany Mitchell showing you the whole package. Jatari White, number 40 for South Carolina, with her first basket. Morgan William at the other end, knocked to the floor, being guarded very, very tightly by Bianca Cuevas.
South Carolina right now in control. Tiffany Mitchell, the senior for the Gamecocks, making it happen and making it look easy.
You're watching the SEC on ESPN. The SEC women's basketball postseason tournament, the championship game, and South Carolina leading it now 45-32 with 3:51 remaining. And if you've seen Tiffany Mitchell play, if you think she's just an offensive player, you'd be making a big mistake. She is filling the stat sheet this afternoon against Mississippi State.
Yeah, she's already got 12 points. She has 4 assists. And the thing Dawn Staley's going to love, 0 turnovers.
And she's also playing defense. Victoria Vivian's the focal point of that. Step back jump shot rattles in and out by Katera Chappell, and the rebound taken by White.
The improved area for South Carolina that Dawn Staley wanted to see was guard play. To go along with that kind of post play, that could help South Carolina get to Indianapolis for the Final Four.
What are you going to do? Asia Wilson, and a beautiful delivery from the high-low. Wilson adds to her total, now with 15 points and 11 rebounds. Morgan Williams attacking against Cuevas, and we'll get to the free throw line.
Vic Schaefer said you got to take away the volleyball plays, the high-low. South Carolina can throw over the top because of their size. Asia Wilson makes it look easy.
And they pulled Chinwe Okore away from the basket to guard White. She got to do a better job of putting pressure on the ball, don't you think?
Well, you can't let them catch the ball in the middle of the floor to start with. Then that would make your life a little easier.
Morgan Williams, in spite of the fact she shoots 81% on the year, third best in the conference, rims in and out on the first of 2 free throws. If you're Mississippi State, you certainly need all of this because you have not gotten enough offense from anybody other than Victoria Vivian's, number 35 in black.
You look at the dominance of the points in the paint for South Carolina, 30 of their 47 points. At what point will Vic Schaefer say, well, let me give the freshman another try? Tierra McCowan brings some size in.
18-footer for Mitchell, not there. Okore, good block out that time against South Carolina, and takes the rebound. 8 rebounds now for Okore. Chappell inside, and another rejection by the league's best, and it'll create a turnover. Here comes Cuevas running 3-on-2, a little bit out of control, a lot out of control, and Vivians will go the other way, being tracked down by Dozier, and it looked like Dozier tried to take the foul, and none was called.
She even tried to grab her. There's no way the official can say, I didn't see that. She grabbed her, she made contact intentionally, and no call. Lisa Mattingly just said, no, let it go.
Well, it's a good thing Vivian stayed with it and made that shot. Here is Cuevas once again down the lane, lots of contact. And who else but number 00, Dominique Dillingham. Every time last night against Tennessee, it looked like Dominique Dillingham was pulling herself up off the floor as she draws the charge here.
That was her 50th charge, but you look, Asia Dozier reaching, trying to get the foul to stop the breakaway to put Vivians possibly. Well, there's only, well, that would have put her at the free throw line for 2 shots.
Oh, wow, wild shot by Vivians off the front of the iron. And easily taken once again by Wilson. The lead is still a dozen. 1:40 remaining here in the third. There's the high-low once again, back into the corner. No, a turnover and a foul committed by South Carolina. And that'll be free throws. Both teams are over the limit. First personal foul on White, so it'll be 2 free throws. And I tell you, if you're Mississippi State, let's go to the line. Let's just go to the free throw line. Try to find some rhythm and get some points on the board without the clock moving. While we get ready for these free throws, want to remind tonight, after the Pac-12 Women's Championship game at Sports Center at night with Bucci and Levy. They'll have all the tournament game highlights as well as the rest of college basketball, the NBA, NHL, NASCAR, spring training, and the final round of the WGC Cadillac Championship at Doral. Sports Center at night, tonight after the game, right here on ESPN and streaming live on Watch and on the ESPN app with Carolyn Peck and Kara Capuano. I'm Paul Sunderland. More college basketball still to come. You got the Big Ten Championship, and then following that, UCLA and Oregon State out west in Seattle for the Pac-12 title.
Michigan State knocking off Ohio State yesterday. Susie Merchant going to the Big Ten Finals.
That foul is going to be called on Dillingham, and if it is, that's her third. And just like I mentioned, over the limit, so it will be 2 free throws now coming to South Carolina. Bianca Cuevas, who had 15 points in 20 minutes, 3 of 5 threes yesterday in the takedown of Kentucky. When I'll tell you an interesting story. I was down in the lobby of the hotel, and a couple of people came over to say hello. They wanted to talk about last night's game. I don't think they were South Carolina fans. They said, boy, really enjoyed the game yesterday. Weren't the Gamecocks good when they won 93-63? Shot 53% from the floor. And this one woman said, they look just like UConn. Well, you know, Dawn Staley makes no bones about wanting to make South Carolina. She really, really admires Gino Auriemma's program and everything that UConn has done and likes to emulate a lot of it.
All right, they demonstrated championships caliber play yesterday, and that's carried over, especially on the defensive side of the ball here against Mississippi State.
5th block shot for South Carolina. Careless foul at the other end because it's going to put, once again, the Gamecocks at the line.
Dawn Staley has done a good job of staying patient with this group, because she told me early in the season this team is different from last year's team. They had a strong leader in Elisa Welch, who has graduated and gone. And so now you've got players that are playing new roles. Asia Wilson and Elena Coates, they came off the bench last year, now having to move into that starting spot. And they've handled it well. It's been a maturation, but it seems like they're peaking at the right time.
Kadisha Sessions having another very, very productive basketball game. And boy, in spite of the fact she misses the second, didn't she set the tone early last night at both ends of the floor in that easy win over Kentucky?
It was interesting in our conversation. You asked me who shoots the highest three-point percentage for South Carolina. You know, we had to look at the numbers. Is it Cuevas? Is it Tina Roy? No, it's number 5, Kadisha Sessions. Over 45% from the 3.
Sessions drops that ball out of bounds, does not take very many, and a lot of teams play off Kadisha Sessions, number 5. You'd think it would be Tina Roy or Tiffany Mitchell, as you mentioned, but it is indeed Kadisha Sessions. Vic Schaefer looking for some offense from somewhere other than from Victoria Vivians.
Well, Morgan Williams has got to start looking for her shot, try to make 2 people defend her, and then try to find an open player if they don't stop her.
Time winding down here in the third quarter. William going one-on-one against Cuevas. Gets the high screen. Looking for somewhere to go. Out to Vivians. Time winding down. 3, 2, 1. Bangs it up and in. Big make in desperation by Victoria Vivians. And doesn't Mississippi State need all the offense they can get as we get to the end of the third quarter?
You want to welcome you back to Jacksonville with South Carolina head coach Dawn Staley. Coach, what's it going to take for that final push and pull away to win this championship and defend from last year?
Well, I think we just got to continue getting that ball inside, whether it's to our post players or penetrating the paint. And we got to continue to do a job on Vivians. If not, we got to not put them on the line. And keep making them work for everything. I like our chances with the last 10 minutes with our conditioning program that we put in, and our strength and conditioning coach, Katie Fowler, put us in a great situation for times like these.
Thanks, Coach.
Inside play, 30 points in the paint for South Carolina. And the seniors, Khadijah Sessions and also Tiffany Mitchell, in double figures for South Carolina. So it's not just been the post in the paint, but guards as well.
Makara Salter, number 44 in black, kind of a three-point specialist on the floor. Took a three towards the end of the third quarter, and to the point of Vic Schaefer trying to find some offense. But not the same problem for Dawn Staley. Asia Wilson, Tiffany Mitchell, as you talked about, to go along with Sessions. Last night against Kentucky, 5 players in double figures so far tonight in this championship game, already 3.
And I saw Matthew Mitchell in the lobby this morning, and he said they were pretty daggone good. Not too many teams in the country, if anybody, could have beaten South Carolina yesterday. Made
12 threes, shot 56%. They were just magnificent. That's going to be a foul on Salter over the back of Asia Wilson, who has been very consistent with her energy level at the offensive end.
And Dawn Staley talked about Katie Fowler. And the one player that she sold on the importance of conditioning was Elena Coates. And you see how that center can sprint and run the floor. And then everybody else, too, so committed. The motivation from Katie Fowler.
First personal foul on Salter. First team foul in the final quarter called against Mississippi State. Mississippi State showing some zone, and Bianca Cuevas taking it full advantage of that. 14-point advantage now for South Carolina.
With the guard play improvement from Khadijah Sessions, she's brought it all year long, but now the sophomore Cuevas to add to it makes South Carolina extremely dangerous.
Mitchell taking it at Morgan William and draws the early contact. Already 2 team fouls against Mississippi State.
Cuevas coming into this tournament, she was 4 of 8 from the three-point line. And hey, watch this. Coach Spurrier, oh, ball coach, he's loving some basketball.
Well, he was a very smooth operator in his time, both as a quarterback and as a head coach. And it has been smooth sailing for South Carolina, particularly outside the arc. Again, 12 of 22 yesterday against Kentucky, and so far in this championship game, they are 3 for 8.
Look at the battle going inside between Okori and Coates. Yeah, you got to clean that up. Like post and repost. You see how Elena Coates steps away and comes back. The activity of the post player. She's got terrific feet.
Exactly the opposite of what Mississippi State needed. To that in a moment. Coates down inside to the front of the rim. And the rebound taken by Richardson. Mississippi State with 8:20 left in this game, already out of fouls. Free throws on every foul the rest of the way for South Carolina.
And South Carolina had all season long struggled from the free throw line, but as of late, they've raised that to in the low 70s.
Richardson's going to get bailed out here, had lost her balance, and going to get to the line to shoot a pair. The saving grace for South Carolina, as far as their productivity at the free throw line, is that they take more than anybody else in the country. They average just over 26 attempts, 17 makes. Coming in to this tournament, they had taken 410 free throws. Their opponents only 221. That's in conference play. That's a pretty good advantage.
Well, they have made more free throws than their opponents have taken.
Usually a pretty good sign.
Oh my goodness.
Both free throws good for number 3, 6'1" junior, Brianna Richardson.
Now, but if Mississippi State can get a stop right here and go down, they can make it single digits. And as long as you've got Victoria Vivians who can knock down threes, Mississippi State can get right back in this game. Mitchell around the screen, which was deemed to be an illegal screen, called against number 22, Asia Wilson. Wilson picks up her second personal foul, and that is the second team foul on South Carolina. Well, I think Tiffany Mitchell took off a little too soon. She's got to wait till Asia Wilson gets set. Yeah, oftentimes the guilty party is the woman with the basketball. Look at Cuevas anticipating. Running 2-on-1, Mitchell calling for it. Cuevas runs right through Morgan Williams. And what a defensive play by number 2, William of Mississippi State. Cuevas just picked up her 4th personal foul. Cuevas with terrific anticipation. Then coming in transition, she needed to give the ball up. Tiffany Mitchell was ahead. She kept it too long. And that allowed Morgan Williams to draw the charge. Absolutely right. Very good play by Cuevas with her 4th foul. Will go to the sideline at the defensive end. But not the way to run a 2-on-1 break, especially when you got Tiffany Mitchell on the left wing. Yeah, you got to give it up right there. Big break there for Mississippi State, but can they take advantage? Dillingham, pull up 14-footer. She has been such a clutch performer. Remember Dillingham's 14 points in Mississippi State's first ever victory over Tennessee. Mississippi State repeated that, winning 2 in a row over the Lady Vols in the semifinals last night. Crowd wanted a dribble outside to Dozier. Little drop pass for Wilson. Shot clock winding down. Dozier got to put this up. High arching 3-pointer. Did not draw iron. So that'll be a turnover called against South Carolina. 12th turnover for South Carolina. Most of those coming here in the second half. Now 14. Mississippi State has really cleaned up that part of their game. Turnovers killed Mississippi State in the opening half. 13 points off turnovers, and they trailed at the break by 12. South Carolina playing to protect something. Mississippi State going after it right now. Inside to Akure. Dropped the ball off her foot. Another turnover. Here comes Sessions. And the same play at the other end, and that's going to be a foul on Dozier. That ball off the foot of Asia Wilson as she looked to put the ball to the floor. And again, that now is South Carolina's 4th team foul. So both teams out of fouls. Free throws the rest of the way, and a lifetime remaining at 6:15. Well, the South Carolina offense has gotten stagnant. It's gone to one side of the floor and then trying to go into the post instead of making the defense shift, cut, and move. Richardson trying to attack, and a traveling violation. Back-to-back turnovers for the Bulldogs of Mississippi State. 16th now, and the difference so far in the basketball game, because we talked about Carolyn. Mississippi State is defended in the half court pretty well. And now South Carolina has got to get movement in their offense. Against this pressure, move the ball. There's going to be a lot of denying, and that will give you an opportunity, like right there, now to go to the free throw line. Foul is called on Vivians. That's her 4th personal. They must have her on the floor, and it'll be free throws coming. 26 points. She had 30 last night in the win over Tennessee. Dozier to go to the line with that heavily bandaged hand. Again, missed 5 games. Missed the UConn game after injuring that hand. You anticipate a rematch possibly between these two
projected to be, obviously UConn's going to be the #1 overall seed, and right now South Carolina projected to be the second #1 overall seed.
Well, right now we still don't know where South Carolina would be seated and in what part of the bracket, but I do expect those two teams, Connecticut and South Carolina, to be in Indianapolis at the Final Four.
Well, if UConn's #1, which they will, and South Carolina lob pass here, is it another turnover? No, save by Dillingham. Inside of 5.5 minutes remaining. William attacking, looking for somewhere to go. Out to Dillingham. Off the side of the iron, long rebound, and here comes Mitchell. Mitchell turning on the Jets. Hangs, lays it up and in. What a big-time play by Tiffany Mitchell. The lead back to 14, but just to finish the thought, Carolyn, if UConn is the #1 overall seed and South Carolina is the second #1, then they'll have to be in opposite sides of the bracket. The only place they would meet would be for the national championship.
And that's exactly where South Carolina wants to be.
Off the front of the iron, rebound taken by Dozier. Wilson ahead of the pack and lays that up and in. The largest lead of the game for South Carolina. Who's hearing it from Gamecock Nation? Let's take a look at the bracketology with Charlie Cream on the left. The #1 seeds, as we've talked about repeatedly, UConn, South Carolina, Notre Dame, Baylor, and on your right, in order, Charlie's order at least of the #2 seeds, but as we thought, it would separate South Carolina and UConn by quite a bit.
Well, right now, Charlie Cream has South Carolina in Lexington. It looks like he has Baylor going out to Sioux Falls and Notre Dame to Dallas. That'd make a lot of people in Texas uncomfortable.
Dillingham notches the wide open 14-footer, and a quick timeout taken by Mississippi State and Vic Schaefer. Do they have one more big run in them? We'll find out when we come back. Back in Jacksonville in South Carolina with their largest lead at 59-45 on their way to their second straight championship. But it was back on February 8th when UConn beat South Carolina 66-54. Breanna Stewart 25 points and 10 rebounds. And you wonder, Carolyn, what South Carolina, we talked to their players at length about what they learned from that experience. And even Don Staley said, in spite of the fact that we were at home, maybe a little bit of stage fright, in spite of the fact that it was certainly not the first time that those two teams had gotten together.
I think the more times that South Carolina can be on that kind of stage. Last year they faced faced Connecticut, then in the Final Four they lost to Notre Dame, and then facing Connecticut again. Now Mitchell was coming back after an injury that she had suffered previously playing Kentucky, and then they didn't have Asia Dozier. You had Asia Wilson, who went down in that game in the second quarter and didn't play the third quarter at full strength. When you ask what have they learned, #1, handle the stage, handle that big moment. #2, guard play improvement. We saw that big time yesterday, and that's really carried over to today. I think that they are getting Final Four ready.
Well, they looked like it yesterday, certainly, when they probably played maybe their best game of the season, maybe their best game in the last 5 years under Don Staley, when they took apart a very, very good team from Kentucky that had won 8 games in a row.
And the experience. Matthew Mitchell brought a very young team into the semifinals yesterday. The experience of South Carolina definitely shined.
And what a job Don Staley has done building this program, because South Carolina was nowhere on the map when she arrived in 2008. Her first year, they were 10-18. Here's Wilson, who's been really good offensively off the front of the iron. There will be two more free throws. To finish the thought on Coach Staley, her first year, 10-18. Second year, 14-15. By 2011 and 2012, they were into the NCAA tournament. And after that, 5 straight 25-plus win seasons. And last year, into the national semifinals.
Not only has it been the success on the court, South Carolina leading the nation in attendance. And I asked Dawn, how did you do it? She said, I'm a grassroots type person. She got out in the community, and she talks about her program, Inner Soul. She was a part of that, started that in Philadelphia for 15 years, and then brought that to South Carolina. And she talks about how many homeless kids there are in the state of South Carolina. And she talked about how it made her feel when she was growing up. to get a new pair of shoes, build confidence, build self-esteem. So she's not only taking care of business on the court, she's also taking care of the community in the state of South Carolina.
Wilson good on both free throws, now with 19 points to go along with 13 rebounds, 7 of 8 from the line. William looking for some space, finds some, and makes a 15-footer. Morgan William now with 9, again playing on that very, very sore right leg. After 3 days in a row, I talked to her before the game. She told me it was bothering her. She's going to cherish some time off before the start of the NCAA tournament.
It hasn't hampered her. She has not slowed down one bit. She has played and given 100%.
Yeah, she got a little mad at me when she thought I was implying that maybe she had slowed down, and nobody's been able to slow down Tiffany Mitchell, who got an absolutely brilliant screen inside.
Now, Coates is still in single digits, but her presence has been extremely valuable for South Carolina with screening, with rebounding, with defending.
Tiffany Mitchell guarded Victoria Vivians early and now taking William. Long three-pointer on the way by LaCara Salter. That's her specialty.
Hey, they call her big ticket because she can knock down the big three-point shots.
Still a comfortable lead for South Carolina. Inside of 2.5 minutes remaining. Both teams out of fouls. Step back jump shot off the side of the iron. Coates there battling for the rebound. And it'll be a fresh shot clock. What an effort by number 41 in white. First team all conference, and she is just a unique basketball player. Mitchell around the screen. Three-pointer on the way and good. 20 points last night in the semifinal, 19 here in the championship game.
It's hard to win that first championship, even harder the second of this SEC tournament. South Carolina is rolling. Momentum driven. You see Elena Coates, your center, giving the second effort, the kick out. And so when you're given that second chance opportunity, Tiffany Mitchell said, let me pay it off. I'll give you 3. Look at this. It's good to see Tiffany Mitchell getting back to her old self.
Chinwe Okorie fouled inside by Coates, and we'll get to the free throw line to shoot a pair. Look, we've talked a lot about South Carolina and UConn, and understandably so, because they played in stores last year. They played at South Carolina this year, so they have that connection. But look, let's not forget about Baylor. Let's not forget about Texas. And let's certainly not forget about Notre Dame, who can really shoot the basketball. And the celebration is on with 1:37 remaining. Asia Wilson, the defensive player of the year, the overall player of the year, to the sideline, making it 2 in a row in the postseason. And we should point out, it's been 3 in a row in the regular season. Last year, they shared the title at 15-1 with Tennessee.
Dawn State told her she didn't like to share, so she went out with a mission to be the clean-cut champion. And with Asia Wilson going out of the game, Paul, I think she pulled off the trifecta. Player of the year, defensive player of the year, and she should be the most outstanding player in this tournament.
Shot clock at 5. Here's Tina Royan. Got to put this one up outside to Cuevas. Cuevas, one dribble off the front of the iron. And here comes Victoria Vivians, who has been spectacular over the last 24 hours. 30 points yesterday against Tennessee. Their second straight win for Mississippi State over the Lady Vols, and that off the back of the iron. 31st win on the season so far for South Carolina. Second straight 30-win season. That ball thrown out of bounds by Cuevas. They did it at the defensive end early, forcing a lot of turnovers. And then South Carolina just way too much. Steve Spurrier enjoyed all of this, and he's going to stay right to the end, and why not?
South Carolina, we know they have the dominant post play inside. They've got tremendous wing players, and now the point guards have stepped up. They've got the total package.
Mississippi State has had another fantastic season. They're going to suffer only their 7th loss all year against 26 wins. And Vic Schaefer has really built this program into a powerhouse. They're going to make an impact on the NCAA tournament. But the moment belongs to South Carolina. (31-1). They will be a #1 seed. They will play the first 2 rounds at home before sellout crowds and another phenomenal season. The final score, they win it 66-52. It seems like they never trailed in this one. Led it by 12 at the half, 11 after 3. And Asia Wilson played about as good an all-around game as you might imagine. 19 points, 13 rebounds, 3 block shots, and was just absolutely superb. And once again, Kadisha Sessions, Carolyn set the tone, and Tiffany Mitchell did just a lot of everything else.
Well, the light really came on for Tiffany Mitchell against Kentucky yesterday with 20 points, and then coming out today ready to close this thing out and win an SEC championship. This is the way to have momentum going into the NCAA tournament.
Mississippi State took much better care of the basketball in the second half. They turned it over 13 times in the first, only 3 in the second. That's what stopped it from really being a blowout by South Carolina, who shot 43% on the game, holding Mississippi State to 38% from the floor. South Carolina also exceptional from the line at 16 of 20. And now let's go to the sideline once again. Kara with Dawn Staley of South Carolina.
Coach, every championship is different. How did the Gamecocks win this tournament title?
No, it is different, but in the same, because we got seniors. Our seniors last year got us to this point and got us our first one. Our seniors this year knew about that familiar experience of last year and got us to another one. So, you know, it's different teams, different leadership, but the same kind of approach to it.
You told us that to get a couple of days off in their spring break, these Gamecocks needed to win this championship today. What did they show you just as a team, other than being locked in and what we saw on the court?
Well, they showed us that they're a resilient group. You know, they've called our babies ugly for the last couple of weeks. And at some point, your babies are going to start fighting back. And they fought back, and it's probably just the thing that we needed to get us over the top and to see this postseason through.
Speaking of, how does this help propel you moving forward? What you learned about the team this weekend?
Well, I think it just injects some energy in us. We know we can shoot the ball. We know, you know, we can sync up from a perimeter and post standpoint. Winning the championship gives us that feeling of hopefully winning another championship. That's wherever region we're going to, and then on to the national championship. So that is our mindset behind it.
Thank you, Coach.
Thanks, Karen.